says also, I have a lot of your services appear to benefit sites, or excuse me, also a lot of your services appear to benefit sites focused on local SEO. What semantic mastery service would or would not benefit affiliate sites that are location independent? Thanks. Everything that we have will benefit any sort of site. We've talked about a lot of our stuff and framed it as a local SEO type or local, it produces results for local, because a lot of our audience does local lead gen or local client consulting. So, that's why you hear a lot of that. However, they're sound SEO principles that will benefit pretty much any sort of project. And as Marco always says, which I know, Marco, I'd like for you to chime in on this, your local is relative. So all of the stuff that we do are really entity validators, right? So for example, syndication network, that helps to solidify the brand, right? Something else, kind of a newer term that we're kicking around is an entity loop, right? Because that's part of what we do with like our ad ID pages and all these other things, that we create these loops that help to solidify the entity. And it basically puts all these different assets out there on the web that reinforce what the entity is to Google. And so syndication networks, drive stacks, ad ID pages, all of those things are a part of that. So Marco, what can you say about that?
Well, I've talked about this quite a bit, right? We've all talked about this. Local is absolutely relative. It's how you look at it. If you box yourself in and you only see relative as your neighborhood, then you're never going to rank for your city because you're stuck in your neighborhood. If you only see the city, then you're not seeing the county. And if you're only seeing the county, and so on and so on and so on. What matters now is the entity, the overall entity, and how you're relating the entity to the niche. If the niche is global and you focus on local, then that's where you're going to get stuck, because you have a global entity, but you're at a local level, and vice versa. So it's really how you focus on it and how you relate your entity to the niche that matters, whether the niche is local, whether the niche is nationwide, or just whatever. That's how you need to look at it. And again, next Wednesday during the RYS anniversary webinar, we are going to show an e-com case study. I can't say the name of the e-commerce store, but it's getting just fantastic results. And e-commerce is not local, or at least this one. It's not targeting anything local. It's really global and focused on the U.S., of course. But it just goes to show that if you do it the right way and the way that it's taught, right? The training is there in a specific manner because that's how it works. So as long as you follow the training, there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to replicate results. It's when you start veering from the training and like cutting corners or not doing everything that we tell you to do, that the results just won't flow. You cannot expect it to work the way that it works for us if you're cutting corners, if you're not doing everything that we tell you should do.
That's a good point, because not last week, because we didn't have a mastermind webinar last week, but the week before, that was part of, we covered that. I covered that a bit in depth, because you can't do one part of everything that we teach kind of builds upon each other. They work hand in hand. The sum of the parts are large. The whole is the sum of the whole is larger than this. The whole is larger than the sum of its parts. Does that make sense? I think I said that right this time. It took me a minute to think through that, but the whole is bigger than the sum of its parts. In other words, if you put all of the components together that we teach in the way that we teach it, then you will get a significant effect from it. But if you just do one of them or two of them or bits and pieces of them, it's not like, let's say there was 4 components, right? If you only did one component, you're not going to get 25% of the results, right? It's lesser than that. Like, in other words, if all 4 components are put together and done right, then you should get 100% results, right? Whatever that 100% is. I'm just saying, if you just do one of those 4 components, then it's not going to give you 25% of the results. It's less than that, is my point. You have to do the things that the way that we get results is what we teach. I know there's other ways. There's more than what there's more than one way to skin a cat, right? So there's other methods out there that will work as well. I get all that, but we teach what works for us, and it works really well. And we haven't knock on wood, we haven't had to deal with any penalty issues or anything in years. So, and again, I feel very blessed for that reason. But if you're just doing parts of it, you're not going to get the full results. So like Marco said, you want to follow if you're going to be using our stuff, use it the way that we suggest using it, including building all of the components out, putting them together the correct way. Okay. Don't cut corners or you won't get results. And then you'll say, oh, well, their stuff doesn't work. No, every time we have to analyze somebody that claims that stuff doesn't work, it's because they cut corners essentially, or they didn't complete all of the stuff. So
we just had someone who ordered a drive stack without the G site say that it's been over 21 days, cleared the Google Dance. Why am I not seeing results? I thought someone said that I would be getting results. We never said that. If you read, see, here's the thing. When we deliver the drive stack and the G site or anything that has to do with RYS, you get a done for you user's guide. I wrote it, so I know what the fuck is in it. I tell people specifically, this is what you need to do. Sometimes all that's required is a drive stack. This is how I say it. And then at other times, you might be able to do more. That's why we came up with the battle plan. The battle plan is very specific: syndication network, drive stack, and then into the drive stack, you might need press releases. You might need embeds. You might need link building. You might need to push videos. You might need another embed run, another link building run. On this e-com store, it went to 300,000 links before it got a nice push. So sometimes it's not just a one, what do you call it, link building push that'll do it. Guys, it depends on the competition. If you're going up against Amazon and you get 2,500 links to your drive stack, are you seriously telling me that you're expecting results against Amazon with that? It's a joke. I mean, you have to look at your competition, gauge your competition, understand how much work it is that you need to do to take on your competition, and is it going to be worth the money going after that competition, or are you better off going after something else? But if you're in it to win it, then you have to go, I don't know, balls to the wall. You have to go all out. You have to just hit it and hit it and hit it again until you get the desired results. But you cannot just get one thing and say, okay, this is good enough. Now I'm gonna rank for Toronto
and DUI attorney or something.
DUI attorney. No.
I got to tell that story real quick. We had a member come join our mastermind. This is 3 or 4 years ago now, and he was in our mastermind for, I don't know, maybe 2 months. He built a syndication network that was only partially complete, and did like 3 posts to his blog for targeting DUI attorney Toronto, or it was in Canada, either Toronto or Ontario or something like that. DUI lawyer, DUI attorney. And he basically said, your stuff doesn't work because I'm not ranking on page 1 for DUI attorney Toronto or whatever it was. And I said, well, let me take a look at what you got. It was a partially completed syndication network with 3 blog posts, and that was it. I was like, yeah, you're right. It doesn't work. So it was funny. He didn't stay with us. Anyways, let's move on.